Hey, welcome to the channel today. We're talking about the natural single plane swing of Moe Norman and why the single plane swing is the easiest way to do it. And we're doing it with a frisbee and we're gonna skip a rock. So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're gonna play well. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're gonna go out there and play great because of the single plane swing. So we're talking about the natural motion of a golf swing. And I do a lot of research. I study motion metrics. How much rotation does the body have? Where should the body be positioned? How much bend, side bend, all those things. And this is great. And if you want to look at some of that stuff on my channel, you can find me discussing the hard data behind all this. But at the end of the day, you're actually trying to find a way to simplify movement. And the golf swing, people say the golf swing's unnatural and things. Well, there's a lot of things that's done in instruction today that you see that is unnatural. I've discussed some of that on my channel, but I want to show you just with a frisbee and, this is a golf ball, but I'm going to show you how you skip a rock. I'm going to show you with a frisbee and skipping a rock how the natural positions of the body should actually teach you a lot about how to move a golf club. Now, let's talk about trail hand on this one first. And if I gave you a rock and let's just study movement here. Let's not even think about golf for a minute. Let's just talk about movement. And I gave you a rock and I said, I want you to skip this rock, make a sidearm movement with speed and take this arm and throw the rock in a sidearm fashion, not overhead, but in a sidearm fashion on the same plane that a golf ball would be, and see how far you can throw a rock. So we're talking speed here. I'm not reducing speed, but I'm talking about how does the body, let's look at the positions of the body. So the first thing you notice, and we'll talk lower body and upper body because we're talking motion here. In order to produce arm speed, and you can look at baseball players, you can look at anybody that has a sidearm throw, you'll see the same elements in the motion of the body because the goal is to produce speed in a certain direction. So let's just kind of analyze this a little bit, if you will. So what I'm going to do here is you're going to see that I'm going to take a couple steps forward and then I'm going to stop my body. Now what you're seeing is the stopping of the body is a bracing for what? You need stability, right? And so I got to stabilize part of the body in order to rotate and accelerate the rest of the body. And you'll notice that, so I'm stopping, I'm rotating, but notice this is what we call lag. I'm lagging the arm behind. And then when I get to a certain point, I'm going to skip the rock. So the arm goes from a bent position. And notice the tilt of my body. You wouldn't skip a rock like this. Matter of fact, anybody you see that doesn't throw a ball well has their body out of its tilt and they can't get it and go in the direction. So what you see is a stopping of the body, a tilting of the body, a rotation of the body, and then notice my arm is bent and the hand is hinged. And I'm going to go ahead and when I get to this point, I'm going to straighten the arm as I'm rotating and I'm going to extend the hand. So you're going to see this kind of extension, right? That would be a natural skipping motion of the body. But let's look at one more thing. Notice where the rock is placed in my hand. You can notice that the hand is rotated and the rock is right here. That's the longest lever I have in my hand from my wrist to this index finger knuckle joint there. That's the longest lever I have in the hand. So now take that in consideration that I'm taking my body position, I'm stabilizing it, I'm rotating, and then I'm extending this lever. I'm using this lever to skip the rock. So you can see the physics in play there. Now, I'm going to grab a golf club real quick and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to just grab a 7-iron here. And if we take that same exact feeling, just with the right hand, and we can look at it, that I'm going to take the club back, I'm going to stabilize, I'm going to bring the arm down, and now notice that people talk about pressure points, and you ask me these questions about pressure. That's a non-rotational motion with the pressure point being right there where the longest lever is. And now I can skip a rock and that's going to move the club exactly on the path to strike a golf ball perfectly. So I'm just demonstrating to you the position of the body, the stabilization of the body, and then the straight skipping motion of the club through the ball. All right, so that's the trail hand and skipping the rock. Notice that and what I want to say one more thing about that. It's not all about the grip. Because people say, well, Moe held the club in the palm of the hands or whatever the theories are. All that is not as important as the position of the body and the position of the arm, and having that leverage you can produce on the club, and eliminating rotation, because you didn't see me do this. You didn't see me skip a rock by rotating the hand, right? And the other thing too is, if you grab the club in the palm of the hand, so people like grab it, Moe held in the palm, and you put the pressure here. So the pressure of your hand is here in the palm of the hand. I challenge you to skip a rock from the palm of the hand, right? And so what happens is people can't produce speed and they lose speed. And so many people argue, well, Moe's club loses speed. That's because they keep trying to grip it in the palm. They're not using the levers correctly and they're losing speed. So try to skip a rock there versus have the hand in the proper rotation, use the lever, and then skip a rock. And you can now produce speed very simply. And this is the discussions I get into with you on this channel, is that you focus on the element of palm grip. And it's really about alignments. See how I'm holding this shaft? This is a very skinny shaft, obviously, but I can still line it up with that same leverage point. As long as my tilt is correct and my body's correct, I can still move the club correctly with a skinny little grip, or I can have my bigger grip here too. But again, it's about rotation alignment and where the levers are being used, not about palm grip, and people get so caught up in that. Okay, so that was trail hand, skipping the rock, single line, non-rotational. There's the single plane motion of the skipping the rock trail hand. Let's talk about lead hand, which is now interesting because you see the arm. What's the natural motion getting this arm moving? Well, body has to be tilted. There's that tilt thing again. And then I have to move my arm across the body, and I got to produce speed. Again, watch what my body is doing. It's tilting, it's stabilizing. That's why we want the foot turned out and the knee slightly flexed. It's stabilizing. And now I'm going to rotate, lag, and then release the arm, right? So there's that motion of the lead arm. Well, let's do it with a frisbee. I'm going to do it, a lot of people might throw a frisbee differently than this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the arm and I'm going to hold the frisbee basically in a way where I can just move the arm straight back, straight through. And you're going to notice that the arm goes across my body. Notice it rotates. Look at the plane of the frisbee, it just changed. And then it's going to rotate back, right? So now you're going to see the motion of the frisbee. And so that is the natural motion. But again, I want you to see the position of the body. I want you to notice that I'm tilted, it gets the arm higher. The arm goes across the body. I stabilize, I rotate, and that pulls the arm across the body, and now I can release the arm and make this motion of the lead arm. So what I want you to recognize here is that what we're teaching in the single plane swing, and what Moe figured out, which was his discovery, quite frankly, is that he figured out the natural way to move the body, not just for the golf swing, but this is the way you would do it if you were going to throw a frisbee, skip a rock, hit a baseball, play tennis, all those things. The body motion is still very similar, but here's the mistake that people make. And so I'm just kind of putting this out there because here's what has made the golf swing so incredibly complicated, is that we violate these principles from the start. That's why I've always said the one mistake that people are making in golf that's complicating this whole experiment here is the address position. Because if you absolutely believe that this is the position the body must be in to strike a ball, which all good players are in this tilted position, why would you start in a non-tilted position? Why would you start in a position that makes it difficult? Why would you do that? And so when you look at old teaching manuals and you look at what people teach, some people totally ignore it. Some people, and there's this thing called confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is when you believe something because it's the way it's been done for so long that you kind of just say, well, that's the way it must be done because evidence is everywhere, right? But the confirmation bias has always been, well, this address position, this athletic dress position where you set your body up and you hang your arms straight down. That's the confirmation bias that has screwed up people for years and made this game so difficult. When Moe stood out there and Moe said, you know what? I'm going to put my arms out because that's the position of the body's, the natural position of the body to make it easier to get this club to move into the golf ball. So he basically eliminated the address position angle that most people create, and he set up with his arms extended. He basically put his lead arm in that frisbee position. He put his trail arm in the skipping the rock position, and now that makes it easier to take it back and come down. It's that tilt of the body and that arm position and the space he created from the ball. So look, I'm not trying to convince you and say, everybody should swing in a single plane. If you're a good golfer and you're out there shooting good scores, maybe you don't want to swing in a single plane. But the reason most of you are having trouble is because you haven't given the single plane a real shot. And I go back to this whole thing about believing in yourself. If you commit to this and you start really working at it and you do it correctly, you may experience what I experienced, which is I became better instantly. And then I've just over time developed it. I've never stopped learning. I continue to learn. And I love basically reinforcing what Mo always said when we practice. He used to say, keep making it stronger, keep making it stronger. So that's why I love doing this. That's why I love helping you. And if you enjoy this content, please give me a thumbs up, hit that bell icon for the next video we got coming out, because we're going to talk more about body motion, stability, and how to produce more speed.